and welcome to our 19 a.m. English News Edition. Here are the headlines. National Laboratory for Food Analysis. Large amount of expired food seized. Washington, Tehran against Iran, U.S. privileged arms diplomacy. The President of the Republic to fire the man of letters, Jamaldeen Abdul Qadir Rido. In this posthumous tribute, President Gele praised the memory of a man of intelligence and conscience. His surpassed creativity and other merits led in the 1970s to the realization of one of the written transcription of the Afar language, the same one that is the most widespread and most used today, said President Gele. Man of letters is one of the founding members of the Afar Pen of Djibouti. The late Jamaldeen Abdul Qadir Rido has just recalled to God in his native Ethiopia. May God welcome him to his eternal paradise. The Committee of Legislation approves the extension of maternity leave for 14 weeks to 26 weeks. For this proposed paragraph 3 of Article 113 of the Labour Code will be amended. The deputy selected a text formula varied from that of the Council of Ministers. The text of the Council of Ministers provided 9 weeks of rest before delivery and 17 weeks after the arrival of the baby. The text adopted by the Parliamentary Commission provided 7 weeks at the end of pregnancy and 19 weeks after delivery. The benefit from her rights, the pregnancy must warn the employee or the human resources of her condition in the 7th month of pregnancy. If all goes well, the maternity leave can also be taken at the last 2 weeks before the expectation date of delivery, subject to the favorable opinion of her doctor. For the first 14, the maternity leave benefits are half weeks, 50% by the CNSS, and the other half, 50% by the employee. Thus, the CNSS ensures the payment of the maternity leave allowance for the additional 12 weeks introduced by this new text. This allowance is equal to the amount of the salary. The Standing Committee on Legislation and General Administration held a meeting on Thursday, June 20, 2019, in one of the rooms reserved for parliamentary committees in the National Assembly. In this series of outdated goods, the agent of the National Food Analysis Laboratory seized a merchandise attendant for sale on the national market containing bags of rice whose expiry date had come to an end, therefore a comestible. Carried out in close collaboration with the National Gendarmerie, during the expired goods seizure operation, several agents were on site, including Mr. Hussein Ali Bou, head of the Mobile Brigade, and 6 Ahmed agent of control. Perished product and determine the health of Djibouti consumers, so vigilance is required. The new railway line company welcomed the passenger train from Addis Ababa as usual. The passenger train has resumed service since Thursday in this summer period toward Addis Ababa. The holidaymakers rejoiced at the resumption of the train and showed up this morning at Nagad to go to Ethiopia. All EDR employees and senior officials from the Ministry of Equipment and Transport were present to pursue this happy event. Alongside this passenger train, it should also be noted that the freight train operates at its normal rate, which is an average 2 to 3 trains per day from the port of Dolari, in order to reach the optimum frequency of 4 to 5 trains per day. In Tajura, this time and precisely on the city of Yale, that a closing ceremony was organized to mark the end of the work of the 3 exploratory drilling of the area of Yale, which is the project owner Icelandic IDC group. For this purpose, a launch animation were presented. This in the context of the implementation of environmental and social management plan of the geothermal exploration project of ESD and the profile population of this locality. The sub-prefect of Lak Asal, Muhammad Ahmed Udum, as well as the notable and representative of the women were present at the ceremony, as well as the technical teams of the project, which marks the end of the exploration phase of the 3 boreholes of Yale. Or the test ongoing activities have demonstrated the commercial potential of wells in the past April. And we are going to talk about sport news with the goal of the CAN and the Djiboutians have been able to watch the first match of the 32nd edition of the African Cup of Nations, which take place in Egypt from June 21st to July 19. For the purpose, the State Secretary for Youth and Sport has set up the CDC as a screen seat throughout the championship. The fan club of the various districts of the capital, the region of the interior, will take advantage of these sites and thus live the rhythm of the match that will oppose the great nation of Africa, and justly the Pharaohs of Egypt, in the opening game of CAN 2019 in front of a public acquired in their cause in the presence of the President Al-Sisi, Mohamed Salah. His teammates suffered before ensuring a precise success thanks to a goal of Trezeguet. The pre-game has started in music, dance and no stress for Zimbabwean players who left their hotel singing and smiling. The Warriors had chosen their way to lower the pressure before challenging the great favor of the CAN, Egypt, supported by a whole people, a red people represented by the 74,000 spectators of the International Stadium of Cairo, who ceased shooting their love to their pharaohs. The hot summer of 2019 brings a massive influx of entire families to the beach of the capital, the most popular of which is La Siesta. It must be said that it is the most popular neighborhood of the center of the Djiboutian capital that provide the main contingent of bathers who invade the square beach, the covered the Siesta, or a little further north, the Iran. These bathers undoubtedly take a lot of pleasure and spend a pleasant moment away from the hot summer heat of Djibouti. With regard to the safety of the beaches, a first aid station 4 meters high, allowing lifeguards to watch all the bathers enjoying the beach. This post was financed by the French Force Station in Djibouti and the City Hall, one equipped with Djibouti Coast Guard regular patrol at sea. The Coast Guard Djiboutian embarked in the evening of yesterday a delicate and urgent relief operation involving a Yamaha-type boat bound for Yobok. 2 persons are missing, a woman and a child of about 2 years old among 10 people on board of the boat, composed of 2 crews and 8 passengers, who was shipwrecked at the Baki number 0 on the outskirts of the island of Mascali. After intense search and rescue operation, the Djiboutian Coast Guard arrived at 9 a.m., found the boat in distress, completely capsized, and some passengers tried to survive by clinging to the edge of the boat. Immediately after the arrival of the 6 survivors at the fishing port, ambulance and institution immediately evacuated to the military hospital Omar Hassan al-Bashir to receive the necessary emergency care. The investigation was assigned to the Coast Guard Research Investigation and Judicial Brigade to determine the exact cause of the wreck. And in the international news, 9 dead in plane crash in Hawaii. This thick column of black smoke comes from the debris of a burning cabin. 9 people were killed Friday in the crash of a passenger plane in the North America archipelago of Hawaii. The aircraft, a King Air twin-engine paratrooper, crashed at takeoff near Dillingham Airfield on Hau Island. There are no survivors. The information is provided by the Hawaii Department of Transportation. The exact cause of the crash remains unknown. The Federal Aviation Agency has opened an investigation. A conflict in the sky, but above all, a battle of image. Iron-aired footage of the U.S. drone that its army shot down on Tuesday, June 20, 2019. It was flying over its airspace, accusing the Tehran regime. He was in international airspace, protested the United States. The surface-to-air missile hit the craft of the Arabian Seas. Donald Trump then decided to carry out a reprisal operation against military targets. He cancelled it in extremis. They also called for a closed meeting of the United Nations Security Council on Monday, 24 June. The Karanji, with its distinctive look, is the only car made in Madagascar and one of the few cars made in Africa. On the roads of Antananarivo, the Malagasy capital, it is difficult to miss this car with a distinctive look. It is designed for Malagasy and Malagasy. Tahir Wakoto Arima Nana is a driver for DHL. This is the end for this news. Thank you for watching us and have a wonderful night.